What's good? It's your girl ShawniiEcho, and I'm back with another video. By the title, you've read that we are getting into part 2 of my pregnancy journey, where we talk about how I found out that this was a high-risk pregnancy, and also how that affected just me feeling like I was losing everything, from my relationship to my jobs to my health to my sanity, just everything. So if that's something you're interested in, continue watching. All right, so I was very excited about being pregnant, and I felt like as soon as I found out I was pregnant is when those symptoms started to kick in, and it was a lot. Are you taking a picture of me? What are we doing? You did pat your back.
How's my impression of you?
It was good. I'm sorry. Today, I am 8 weeks and 6 days. How am I feeling? Right now, I just got done eating some grapes and some oatmeal. I woke up this morning feeling like I wanted to just throw up my guts. I always wake up feeling starving, like I haven't eaten like 2 weeks. I'm noticing that I have to eat more frequently, and I'm the type of person that doesn't eat a lot. I might eat like one big meal a day, and maybe a snack or so. But that's not gonna cut it. It was a lot. I couldn't eat and hold much down. I was throwing up a lot, and it was just a journey because I didn't even have health insurance. So I had to figure out, from scratch, like, what do I do? Where do I go? I'm from California, so I just kind of kept my health insurance from Cali because I would go back and forth. And so I decided to let my health insurance go out there and then apply for pregnancy Medicaid out here, which is a godsend, and they approve you like the next day, and it's just a smooth process. So if you're pregnant in Georgia, you don't know what to do, your first step is to figure out how to get pregnancy Medicaid. You should qualify for it. It's important to note that I am and was self-employed. I was in a band and I was doing hair. But I do hair, and yesterday I had to do some faux locks, and it just took me so much longer than it usually takes me. I don't really have a lot of energy, so I'm thinking about taking the longer, time-consuming styles off of my website, for maybe the next few weeks, because it's just a lot. My ankle has been swelling up for the past 4 days, and my calf muscle locked up like a Charlie horse. And I was just in excruciating pain yesterday. I didn't have time to really go to the doctor. I tried to go to the doctor this morning, but I only have pregnancy Medicaid, which means I can only be seen for things that are pregnancy related. So I am about to see how I can kind of fix that, so I can be seen for whatever, for anything. Because I have a gig tomorrow. I'm in a band as well. 3-hour nonstop choreography and singing. And right now I can barely stand up and walk. And I have to do this gig. It's like my livelihood. It's really not an option not to do it. I'm also not looking forward to, the gig is about 5 hours away. When you consider the stopping and all that stuff, we'll be in the car for about 6 hours, there and back, in less than 24 hours. And I get motion sickness. I hate being in the car. So, yeah, I just had a rough night last night, and it was the first time I've seen symptoms about like having a metallic taste in your mouth. I had me a bowl of cereal, and I swear it just tastes like I was eating metal. And it was just I was so hungry, so I ate it, but it was just like, ugh. I'm just like, bruh, I just worked so hard today. I went to rehearsal, I did hair, I finally make it home, I'm finally able to eat, and it tastes like metal. Because that's what's happening right now. So I was just like, not happy about that. Swelling in one of my calf muscles and one of my feet. And my mom mentioned to me that I should get it checked out. She was like, I read about that. That might be a blood clot. And I kind of like brushed it off, but I still decided, to ask my doctor at my next OBGYN appointment. And I did ask her. She was like, oh, well, we'll just keep an eye on it. I showed her pictures and everything. She was like, we'll just keep an eye on it. And so she didn't think anything of it. And then I was getting more back pains and a little bit of shortness of breath. And so I went to go see my primary doctor, and I told them the same thing. And he's like, well, we'll keep an eye on it, but if you experience shortness of breath again, then make sure you go to the hospital because you might have a blood clot. And I'm just like, okay. Fast forward, I'm thinking, I was just getting what felt like I was very bloaty. So I would feel like there was air trapped in my back. And that's just how I would kind of explain it. So I was just doing some research, and I felt like me going to the chiropractor would help. So I booked an appointment with the chiropractor to get an alignment. I kind of explained to him, and he was just like, there's no such thing as getting air trapped in your back.
We're at the chiropractor doing a back adjustment on one of these machines, an Ego Wave. I don't know if they're gonna do any other adjustments outside of this machine, but she's been experiencing a lot of pain, a lot of trapped gas, and hopefully we can get some relief for her throughout this process, and it's not too tied up to her spinal structure.
So he gave me the alignment, and the next day, when I tell you, I was in excruciating pain. But I also know that in the past, when I've gone to a chiropractor, you usually feel it the next day. It is painful. So now there was a bit of confusion of like, is this pain coming from the fact that I went to the chiropractor, or is this an extension of what I had already been feeling? So I went to the hospital because I was experiencing shortness of breath, like a hospital around the corner from my house, which is like the worst ever. Can't tell you which one because then you would know where around the corner from my house is. However, it was really bad. And I went there because I was having a hard time breathing. They see me having a hard time breathing. They check my oxygen and tell me it's fine and to go sit in the lobby. Mind you, this lobby looks just like a whole bunch of old, dirty, dead people. Sorry. They just look like they was on the verge of dying. Like it's just sickly. Like Greyhound station, New York subway. It just, sorry to be judgmental that way, but it just was not giving positive vibes. So I sat there and I'm just like, but I'm here because I can't breathe and they're not taking that serious. So I'm going back home. Something in my spirit told me when I got back home to call the nurse line. I called the nurse line. She's asking me all of these questions. And I mentioned to her that I did have swelling in my leg. She said, is it in both legs or just one leg? I let her know it was in just one leg. She said, you need to go back to the hospital immediately. Don't stop nowhere to eat nothing. Don't just go directly to the hospital immediately. I'm like, I'm not going to the hospital I just came from. They're not taking me serious. So Brandon, if you're not familiar with who Brandon is, because you didn't watch part one, you need to go watch part one. But anyways, Brandon is my partner and the father of my child. And so he had experience with another hospital that was in Conyers. And he knew that I would get good care there. So we drove all the way to Conyers and let them know that I was advised to come here and get checked for a blood clot. I found out 2 days before I was about to leave that I had a pulmonary embolism. I got admitted into the hospital and they started me on blood thinners. So I do have footage of me in the hospital and kind of talking through what I was experiencing a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and insert that here. Today is August 4th. I had to come to the ER for a number of different reasons. This is just a flashback. Yeah, I'll give more details later because I have a shortness of breath and it takes a lot to talk to y'all. But they're just gonna do a couple more tests. They found a blood clot in my leg, and yeah, we're waiting to see if it traveled to my chest area or not, or however that works. Just making sure it's not, you know, super dangerous, because these things can get dangerous. But we got an ultrasound today. The baby's heartbeat is good. We're at 10 weeks. Today was actually supposed to be my OBGYN appointment, but I was in too much pain to make that appointment, so I rescheduled it for next week. But today they were supposed to test the baby for like Down syndrome and the gender, all that good stuff. But we'll do that next week. Yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. But this is the first trimester of pregnancy. Yeah, they found some clotting. I have a blood clot in my leg, and then I have some in my chest, one particular in my lung. It's not affecting my heart, so they're just gonna give me some thinners. But right now I'm under observation so that they can determine which thinners they should give me. Not sure the specific cause. Blood clotting is very common in pregnancy, but they do think it may be caused by my travel, because I am in a band. I travel every weekend, and we've been doing a lot of long distance driving. I've just been sitting down for a long amount of time. And lately, for about the last 2 weeks, if I did any hair, I was sitting down as well. For a long period of time, which was cutting off the circulation. I was having the shortness of breath because I'm extremely bloated, having a belching issue, as you guys can tell. So I'm sorry, I can't control it. But I also went to the chiropractor, not yesterday, but the day before yesterday. I was very sore, so I couldn't, like how I'm sitting back right now, I couldn't do that. I was stuck. I couldn't get into any position without being in agony. And on top of the agony, it was hard to expand, like take a deep breath. It was hard to do that. It hurt to do that. It would like cause me to cry, and then crying was just, you're going downhill from there. But that combination of pain would, you know, when you get in pain, you just be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? But it make you want to like hold your breath. So I did a lot of holding my breath, and just instinctually, but also uncontrollably burping was making it very difficult for me to catch full breaths. So I had shortness of breath. So I understood that my oxygen was fine, but it was just very difficult for me to breathe, and it was hurting. And I would end up holding my breath for way too long. And that was my concern. So yeah, I came to the hospital, and they had me stay overnight. It is, I don't know what time it is, but they just brought me breakfast. I think it's like 9 something right now. They brought me breakfast. They wouldn't let my bae stay, so he is at his mom's house because she lives closer to the hospital I'm at right now, and he'll be back shortly. but they sent him away. I'm on strict bed rest. They won't even let me use the restroom. I have to use this potty right here. I look like a bum. Didn't have time to do my hair. So, didn't have time to do my hair. Bruh, I got 2 IVs in my arm. This one's giving me liquid. And they keep coming in here every 4 hours to draw my blood. I'm just like, bro, y'all selling it, it's fine. Just give me some of the profits, bro. But I have been in agony for the past week. Just my body maneuvering, trying to get comfortable. Yet last night was the first time. I have been avoiding taking Tylenol. That's like the only thing safe to take while you're pregnant. But they had a lawsuit against them right now because they say that the Tylenol has been causing Down syndrome in babies. So I didn't want to take it. But yesterday I had to take it. And, it worked instantly. So, I was grateful for that. And I just took some more because it's wearing off a little bit. And every time I burp, it's hurting my chest. So I'm waiting to hear from the blood specialist. They're going to discharge me after I hear from him. And then I'll know if I'm on bed rest or not. But yeah, this is what's going on.
So we're about to get discharged. She's a little tired. I don't know if she's gonna give you any kind of intro, but we've been here for the last 2 nights, 3 days. They're gonna have her on blood thinner injections that we're gonna muscle through and smile through and make it through. And we're about to go get a smoothie. Shout out to Tropical Smoothie Cafe, shameless plug. And we're gonna be better. She's not as nauseous, but a little bit so. Hopefully the medicine they give her is gonna just keep her feeling great, and the baby's in great shape. And we're about to get up out of here. Shout out.
Every time this child, a boy or girl, get on punishment, they watching this whole video. I swear to God. You see what I'm going through right now? That's all I have to say. I just was doing B-roll. I'm gonna have to make a video when I'm in better mind state, because I'm not okay right now.
All right, y'all. Well, like she said, she's not okay right now, so I'm gonna get back to keeping her okay and stop worrying about y'all.
They were quick with it. They checked my leg, did an ultrasound, they found a clot, and then they was just like, well, we gotta do an x-ray. They did the x-ray, they're like, we really can't see clear enough, we need to do a CT scan. Now, it's really not good to get a CT scan while you're pregnant, but it was just like, we need to find out. So I agreed to the CT scan. That experience in itself was very uncomfortable, but the results were that they found a blood clot in my lung, and the proper term for this is called a pulmonary embolism. So I had a DVT and a pulmonary embolism. Luckily, that blood clot in my lungs had not begun to start affecting my other organs in terms of like anything shutting down. But I would say, what they say, it's like a 50-50 thing. 50% of people who have a pulmonary embolism, once they find out, they're dying. Like, it's too late. It's too late. Because a lot of the times it's a silent killer and you don't get the symptoms. So I thank God that I did get the symptoms and it was revealed to me at the time that it was. This was literally 2 days before I was set to go on a birthday trip, which would have been a cruise. Imagine me out in the ocean experiencing these things. not being able to get the type of care that I needed. So I'm very grateful that I found out when I found out, but I was bummed because my trip got canceled. As you can see, yeah, that was where I was. I was in the hospital, just kind of feeling discouraged and bummed. But at that time, I did not know the severity. I didn't even look up what a pulmonary embolism was until after I left the hospital. I had a couple of follow-up appointments, and my nurses were very, very, very like, you have that? Oh my God, like they were so drastic that it made me like go want to look into it. And Google can scare the life out of you when it comes to, diagnosing you with stuff. But at least I had already known that I had that. So I'd never been pregnant before. And so I had to be referred to a high-risk doctor in terms of my pregnancy. I was seeing 2 sets of OBGYNs, like regular and then high risk. I had to take injections, which I'll insert footage of me having to do injections. I had to do twice a day, every 12 hours, enoxaparin, 80 milligrams for the entire pregnancy and 6 months postpartum. I wanted so badly to be able to take the pill, but because I was pregnant, they made me do the injection. And so that was very discouraging. I had to do it myself. I didn't have nobody willing to stick the needle in me for me. So that was discouraging. And then I was traveling. So I later found out that I had a condition, a blood clotting condition called factor V Leiden. And pretty much it makes me susceptible to blood clots due to pregnancy or excessive traveling. And again, I'm a part of a band, so I was traveling every weekend, 6-7 hour rides, twice within a 24-hour time frame. Go there, perform, turn right back around. So I believe a combination of me being pregnant and traveling caused that. And it just got to a point where I was on the blood thinners, but it was still not safe for me to continue to do that. So I stopped traveling with the band, so that income was gone. Then I started doing hair more, and eventually I got to a place where I couldn't get through my hair appointments. Even like a braid down, something that's as quick as like less than an hour, was a struggle for me. So then I had to stop doing hair. And so because of that, I had just opened up my own suite, which, I'll have a video kind of about that journey separate from this, but I will insert some of the footage of like me just starting my business. I've been in business for 3 months at this time, and I was doing really good, and I was supposed to like rent my suite out to somebody else while I was pregnant, and the day I was supposed to sign that paperwork, the person backed out, so I had to let my suite go. And that was really discouraging. So I lost my business, I lost my means of working, and I didn't have any income. So it was just kind of rough. And then my partner had to get a second job to kind of aid the fact that I didn't have much income. So now I lost his physical support in terms of being there to assist me. And just the stress of the pregnancy kind of caused a lot of ruckus in our relationship. So I just kind of felt like I was losing that too. And if it wasn't kind of related to doctor's appointments or just making sure I'm good or I ate or something like that, I really felt like I lost my relationship. And so I'm really grateful for the help and the support that I got, and God coming through and showing himself to me, because I truly just felt like I was losing my sanity during this pregnancy. I also felt like I was losing the ability to kind of just express myself and feel what I was feeling and be okay in that, because I kept being instructed that I had to not stress and worry about things, because everything that I was stressing about, was adding stress to the baby. And there was a part of me that just didn't want nothing to happen to my child because I was overly worrying. So I feel like I lost my ability to really process everything that I was dealing with and going through. I lost my enthusiasm. I always kind of imagined what my pregnancy would be like. Me being a content creator, I knew I'm going to do this type of shoot. I'm going to be filming. I'm going to be vlogging. I'm going to be, you know, content was about to be lit in my head. And I just felt like I lost a sense of who I was and what I normally would do. I had no desires to do anything. I was frustrated. I was hurt. I was all over the place. And I wasn't able to really enjoy it. So, that's where we're going to cut this section of the documentary off. And this is not where my story ends. Yes, it was complicated. It was scary. But my God is a good God. And I understand when I'm going through a storm. And so I kind of want to talk about the blessings within that storm. And we're going to get into that in part 3 of this video. So if you enjoyed this video, again, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below any of your stories, your take, if you yourself experienced a pulmonary embolism. It was really scary having that condition, because there wasn't a lot of information on pregnancy and having a pulmonary embolism. There was just only information on like separate, or people got a pulmonary embolism after having the baby, like because of having an epidural or something like that. I was only able to find 2 stories of pregnant women and pulmonary embolism. One was Serena's, and the other was a lady who ended up dying on the table, and the doctor had to bring her back twice. So imagine not having much information, and people would tell you their stories. They would start off telling you, but nobody like followed through with their end result for real. And the ones that did was not positive. You know, that's not, I mean, she lived, but that didn't give me much happiness to look forward to. So I just kind of lost faith in my pregnancy journey, and it made me feel like I couldn't be happy until I had it. It made me feel like I had to protect myself and not look forward to something that hadn't happened yet, because I'm just used to being disappointed in stuff happening to me. For some reason, stuff just be happening to me. So I don't like to assume that it's all going to work out. I didn't feel comfortable doing that. I felt like I had to prepare myself for the worst and hope for the best. So if you are watching this video and you do have a pulmonary embolism and you are pregnant, definitely take care of yourself. If you have a blood clot, or you having signs of a blood clot, meaning shortness of breath, sharp pains in your back, swelling in just one leg or one calf muscle, go get that checked out. That's not a joke. Go get that checked out, and don't let nobody downplay it or tell you it's normal or it's okay. Advocate for yourself, because the first hospital did not take me serious. And so yeah, the next video we're gonna focus on my blessing in the storm.